right, so bring yourself into a comfortable seat if you're not already. Take a few moments to settle in, let your eyes close. Take a few slightly deeper breaths in and out through the nose. Start to check in with your body. Check in with your mind, check in with your heart. And then we'll guide our palms together in front of the heart. And as we inhale, reach the fingertips up. As we exhale, reach the fingers out and down, release the hands toward the floor. Take another breath in as you sweep your arms out and up. And then exhale the hands down to the heart. All right, we'll interlace our fingers. Press the palms forward and up. Start to reach up through one hand and up through the other side, left and right a few times, gently tugging on the fingers as you extend up through one side of the body and then the other. All right, let the hands separate. Take them behind the back. Interlace the fingers there. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Open up across the chest. Gently turn the head side to side. All right, and then reach your chin up. And drop it down. Again, lifting up. And dropping down. And then one more time, lifting up. And dropping down. All right, bring the head up to center. Scoot the knuckles over towards the right side of your waist. Let your head gently fall over to the right. Relax the cheeks, the jaw, the forehead. And then let the head go a little bit forward. And back. Again, a little bit forward. And back. And then once again, a little bit forward. And back. All right, ease the head up to center. Scoot the knuckles over towards the left side of the waist. Hook them there. Again, let the head fall over to the left. Allow the head to be heavy and the face and jaw still relaxed. Take the head a little forward. And back. Again, a little forward. And back. And once more forward. And back. All right, ease the head up to center and release the arms. All right, so we'll transition onto our backs. As you come down onto your back, just start with your knees bent, feet resting on the floor. Step the feet a little wider than your hips. Gently sway the knees side to side. And then hug both knees in toward the chest. Give them a gentle squeeze, a little rock from side to side. All right, let your legs separate and then start to rotate through your ankles. A couple of times in one direction. A couple of times the opposite way. All right, let the legs come back together. Roll to your left side. And you might just rest your head on the floor. You might tuck your left arm underneath your head. You could put a prop there, like a block or a pillow if you want to. And then we'll do some shoulder rotation. So let the right hand come to the right shoulder. And then with that right elbow, draw a big circle in space. A couple times in one direction. And a couple of times the opposite way. All right, after a few circles each way, then we'll stack the arms, palm over palm, so reaching in the direction that you're looking. So right hand on top, take a breath in, and exhale your way into your twist. Take the right arm over to the right. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale the arms together. And exhale into the twist. Right arm over to the right. And 1 more, breathing in. And breathing out. And then just pause a moment here, making any little adjustment to your position to make yourself even 5% more comfortable. So if you want any support under or between the knees or underneath that right arm, feel free to use what you have, whether it's a block, a blanket, a pillow, or similar. And then start to let yourself melt into the floor, releasing effort, releasing striving. Let yourself be exactly where you are. All right, take another 3 rounds of breath. And then after your 3rd breath, just ease the legs back to center, rolling back onto your back. Step the feet wider than your hips once again and sway the knees side to side. All right, as you gradually come to stillness, we'll cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Bring the legs in toward the chest, reaching through for that left leg, and rock a little bit side to side. All right, take 1 more cycle of breath. And then release that left leg out of the way. Keep the right knee drawn in toward the chest, and then start to rotate through your hip. So right knee draws a big circle. A couple times in one direction. And a couple of times the opposite way. All right, and then release that right leg all the way down to the floor. Separate the feet a little wider than the hips. Take the arms out from the shoulders. Kind of embody the shape of a starfish. and just let the body drop into the floor. Take several rounds of breath, feeling and observing them flow in and out of the body without restriction, without force, without control. All right, take another breath. And then we'll take the knees back into the chest. This time rolling to your right side. And again, maybe you rest your head on the floor, on your right arm, or on a prop. But then take your left hand to your left shoulder and start to rotate. A couple of times in one direction. And a couple of times the opposite way. All right, then if you are laying on your right arm, go ahead and untuck it. And then we'll stack the arms. Left palm on top, fingers reaching in the direction that you're looking. Take a breath in. And exhale into the twist. Left arm over to the left. Twice more like that. Inhale the arms back together. And exhale into the twist. One more time, breathing in. And breathing out. And then make any little adjustment to your position that might be necessary for you to be as comfortable as possible in this twist. So that might include supporting underneath the left arm or in between or under the knees. See which way your head wants to turn. And again, let yourself melt. Release any amount of effort that feels excessive. All right, take a few more breaths here. All right, and then ease your legs back to center, rolling back onto your back. Pause a moment once you're back on your back, sway the knees. Over the right thigh. Bring the legs in toward the chest, reaching through for your right leg. Rock a little bit side to side. All right, take one more cycle of breath. And then slowly release that right leg out of the way. Keep the left knee drawn in. And then we'll start to rotate through the left hip by drawing a circle with the left knee. A couple times in one direction. And a couple times the opposite way. All right, then release that left leg all the way down to rest on the floor. Again, take your feet a little wider than your hips. Take your arms out from your shoulders so that you resemble a starfish. And again, just let the whole body melt. All right, after you release your next exhale, bend the knees, walk the feet in. And then we'll pick the hips up and scoot them just about an inch or so over to the left. And then keeping the hips on the floor, walk the feet out and scooch the feet as far to the right as they're able to go while keeping the left hip down. Cross the legs at the ankles. And then we'll do the same with the arms. Take them up alongside the head. Scooch them over to the right. Grab a hold of your left wrist so that you're creating a side bend called banana pose in yin practice. But really a big stretch on this left side of the body from the hand to the shoulder, low back, hip. Notice what you feel. As much as possible, let that left shoulder and hip be on the floor. If you need support underneath any part of your body, feel free to use what you have, whether it's a block, blanket, bolster, whatever it might be. Some common places in this pose where people need support sometimes might be underneath the shoulder in question, the left shoulder, or underneath the arm, so that it's slightly less intense on the shoulder. Looking for just enough sensation that it doesn't feel too intense. Mellow enough to relax into the shape. All right, take another 3 breaths. And then after your 3rd breath, just slowly separate the arms so they're once again wider than the shoulders. Let the legs slowly separate, especially that left leg. moving back into its own lane. Again, let yourself melt into the floor. All right, now before we do the second side, take that left knee in toward the chest, give it a squeeze, and then this is something that can be done with a strap if you have one, or if you don't have a strap, you can just hold the back of your leg. So if you are using a strap, just bring it around the ball of the left foot, holding onto the strap either with one hand or both hands. If you don't have a strap, just hold the back of the leg. Now for the moment, we're kind of focusing on the back of the left leg, but if the right leg being straight on the floor is too much, just bend the knee and walk the foot in. Gives you a little bit more tip ability with your hips. If you are feeling a lot of tightness in the back of this left leg, bending the right knee helps, at least to start. And then reach that left heel up, slightly pull the toes down. See if you can engage the shin to help facilitate the lengthening of the back of the leg. Take another 5 breaths. Keep the heel reaching up, the toes pulling down. And then after your 5th breath, let that left knee bend again. Let the foot and ankle relax, coming back into a passive position. And then we're going to take the leg out to the side. So let the left hand come to the inner left knee. So that now as you pull the left knee out to the side, keeping the knee bent to start, you bring the thigh into the position that we want it to be in as we now start to straighten the left leg out to the side. So like you're kicking out to the left with that left heel. And then if it's too intense to keep the leg straight, just have enough of a bend that's comfortable for you. You can keep holding onto the leg above or below. Or if you have a strap, just hold on to the strap with it wrapped around the ball of the left foot. Again, the leg doesn't have to stay straight if it's too intense. Remember, you want to find an amount of intensity that feels safe to let go into. So if it's too much intensity, you're going to be tensing and not relaxing. So find mild to moderate sensation for your body. All right, take another 5 breaths. And so after your 5th breath, let your left knee bend again. Guide it back into center, letting the foot and ankle relax. And now as we cross this left knee over towards the floor on the right, start to straighten the left leg out to the right. So again, reaching through the heel to reach over to the right. And again, your right hand might just be supporting the leg above or below. Or if you have your strap, it might still be around the ball of the left foot. So reaching over to the left or over to the right with your left foot. Then send your left arm back over to the left. Again, let the head find a comfortable resting position. All right, take another 3 breaths. And after your 3rd breath, let the left knee bend. Guide the leg back to center as you roll back onto your back. Release that left leg all the way down to the floor. Again, let your body resemble a starfish. Pause for a couple breaths. All right, bend the knees, walk the feet in. This time the hips scoot about an inch or so over to the right. And then keeping the hips on the floor, straighten the legs out. Scooch the feet over as far to the left as they can go. But again, trying to keep the right hip down. And then sweep the arms up alongside the head. Grab a hold of your right wrist as the hands scooch over to the left as well. So you're making banana pose, a side bend. Sensing into the right shoulder, right hip, and low back. Again, if you want any support underneath your right shoulder or hip or feet, go ahead and start with support. And then if at any point you don't need it, you can move it. But start to come into the pose in a way that you feel safe to relax and let go. All right, take one more breath. And just slowly start to separate the arms so they're wider than the shoulders. Let the legs separate, moving that right leg as slowly as you need to. So you once again take arms and legs wide apart. Let the body melt. And then let your knees bend, walk your feet in. All right, we'll take that right knee in toward the chest. Give it a squeeze. And then again, either using a strap or not, start to straighten the right leg up. Let this be an active stretch so that you're pulling the toes down toward the knee by engaging your shin to facilitate the opening, the lengthening in the back of the leg. As before, the non-working leg, your left leg, you might keep the knee bent. If the back of your right leg is pretty tight, having a bent left knee gives you a little bit more mobility in the hips to kind of dial in the amount of sensation you want. If it's fine to straighten out the leg, also fine to do. right, take another 5 breaths. And then after your 5th breath, bend the right knee, let it come back into the chest so that the back of the leg and the ankle and foot relax fully. We're going to take this right knee out to the side as far as it's able to go out to the side. And then right hand comes to the inner knee, or you might be using your strap around your foot. And then start to kick the right foot out to the side. You can do this several times, finding the right angle of sensation that connects with the inner thigh, but also the back of the leg. And with that right foot going out to the side, your hand might be under the leg to support. You might be using a strap. You might have another prop to support underneath the outside of the right leg. All right, then let that right knee bend again. Guide the leg back into the chest. Cross it over towards the floor on the left, and then start to straighten out the right leg. So kicking through the heel. Send the right arm back over to the right. And straightening out all of your limbs to their capacity. Let the head rest where it's comfortable. All right, take another 3 breaths. And then after your 3rd breath, again, let that right knee bend. Guide the leg back through center. And release the right leg all the way down to the floor. Again, pausing, letting the body take up space. Let the body be heavy, resting into the floor. All right, let the knees bend, walk the feet in. Turn all the way over onto your front. And so as you turn over onto your front, just walk the arms forward. Let the elbows land underneath the shoulders, gently pressing down into the forearms as you lift your heart, reaching it forward. Bring some attention to the low back, the gentle compression that is created there in this back bend. Let there be softness in the belly, the face, the jaw. All right, from here, lean a little bit to the left. Scoot your right knee up and out to the side to the extent that is comfortable for your low back. Elbows still under the shoulders. We'll take a couple more rounds of breath here. All right, keep the right knee up and out to the side for the moment. Lower your chest and head down to the floor. And then take your left arm straight out to the side. Let it rest on the floor. Turn your head over to the right, rest your head on the floor. Now push down into this right hand. As you start to turn your chest and hips a little bit away from the floor, you can start to scoot the right knee in a little bit. You might decide to stack your legs or step that right foot back towards the space behind you. But wherever you decide to take that right leg, let the focus be mostly on the left shoulder and what you're experiencing there. So left shoulder, down the arm, into the chest a little bit. Make sure the head and neck are comfortable so that you can again relax and melt into support, into the floor. All right, take another 3 breaths. All right, after your 3rd breath, slowly roll back onto your front. Take that left arm down alongside the torso to pause and rest. Take a breath or 2. All right, prop yourself back up on your elbows, so elbows under shoulders. Again, gently pressing down into the forearms, reach the heart forward, reach the toes back. All right, then lean just a little bit over to the right so you can scoot your left knee up and out to the side. Just scoot it up as far as is comfortable and possible for your low back. Again, breathing deeply. right, then keeping the left knee out to the side for the moment, lower your heart down to the floor. Take your right arm straight out to the side. Turn your head over to the left, resting the head on the floor. And then as you press down into that left hand, start to scoot the left knee in a little bit so you can turn your chest and your hips at least a bit away from the floor. If it's possible to stack the legs, that's another option, or step your left foot back toward the space behind you. But again, no matter where that left leg goes, let the focus be mostly on the right shoulder, into the chest, down the arm. All right, take one more breath. And then rolling back onto your front. Right arm comes down alongside the torso to pause and rest. Take a couple of breaths. And then we'll press up onto hands and knees. And then sit back towards the feet into child's pose. So you can take your knees wide or close together depending on what's most comfortable for you. So just folding over or between your thighs. Release the head toward the floor, toward a prop, toward your hands perhaps. And just allow yourself to melt into the floor. Feeling the breath flow in and out at whatever speed your body needs in the moment. All right, take one more cycle of breath. And then gradually bring yourself up, back into your seated position. Then we'll join our palms in front of the heart as we bow to the light within ourselves as well as each other. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. May we know peace. Thank you for being present. Enjoy the rest of your day.